Hey guys, so I am testing out some filters, and while I'm doing that, I am going to do a little vlogging. I found a subject that I thought was pretty interesting. The TDCJ, which that's the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, their motto says to provide public safety, promote positive change in offender behavior, reintegrate offenders into society, and assist victims of crime, which I'm not here to attack them. I will say that people do, and I've been an officer, so I'm not like attacking anybody, but I didn't also think about this at the time. You give so much of your time to this workplace, you're doing what they tell you to do. So basically, I don't want to say selling your soul, but time is something, a resource you cannot get back. Um, you become slave to your policy. So I would encourage everybody to be aware of their policy because that does make an impact. Um, Reintegration is what kind of stood out to me because I don't feel like, as a former officer, like just a correctional officer, I didn't really see that. And I've known people who would say the same thing. You can send a pretty decent person in there and they come out a killer. So that's why that part kind of stuck out in my mind when I heard the topic of the vlog. I was like, okay, well, yeah, that sounds like hitting the nail on the head, so to speak. So, reintegration, merging, meshing, desegregating, blending, unification, to combine, consolidation. I don't think we do that very well. And if you're going to have people that are going to be returning to society, I would think that's a pretty important thing. And I don't want to get flagged, so I'm not going to say his name, but if you know, you know. If you don't, ask me and I'll tell you. The Great Chief, he loved his enemies. Like, that's one reason he's so inspiring to me. But he had the prisoners were paid and they had stores where they could buy stuff. Pools, theaters, shows, sports events. They would have like from here versus there, guards or prisoners. Just things to keep them kind of wanting to do well. I don't know what incentives, because I don't know what's important to them. I don't know their position. I've been a correctional officer, so I've seen some things. And that's another reason, like, I think that everybody's opinion matters. I was just a correctional officer, not very long, but I think even though you weren't, your opinion is just as valuable as mine, and our opinion is just as valuable as people that would hold rank, I guess. So I'm kind of the shaman like mindset where you need to honor your own experiences. That's just my perspective. It served me well. Anyway, so I do encourage it. But that would be something that's pretty, I don't know, it's like they're not supposed to go on a vacation, of course. They committed a crime, but from my understanding, being away from their family is a lot of the punishment in itself. Um, I have known of people who I went like to the academy with And they weren't at my unit, but they were at a unit like my neighboring unit, I guess you'd say. Um, they would roll doors actually and use pressure points whenever they get pissed off at the inmates to mess them up. Then when the inmates would call for help, for medical, they would tell them that this inmate is crazy. There are no bruises on this inmate. So, um, I think that's something that's I'm kind of like not the most. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but at the same time, I would prefer peace over having to do things to people. So there might be things that I don't always understand, but I don't really see that as motivating the inmates in any positive way. I see it kind of as bullying, to be honest, abuse of authority. I'll also mention this because I don't have much more, but guards, actually, an inmate told me this, y'all. So it was like, I appreciated a lot of the inmates because they would watch out for me and tell me things that the guards did not. Guards will often get attacked because an inmate's told somebody they're scared. They want to be separated from the population, the general pop, and they won't. So these inmates, I've heard about them apologizing right before they punch a guard, like stuff like that. They'll attack the guard so that they can get put in a place where they feel safe. Um, it's a lesser charge to attack a guard than it is to have a cell phone. So the inmate who gave me a heads up was like, if you see somebody in there with a cell phone, do not go in there because they'll have to report you getting attacked, and they'll go for that because it's a lesser charge. So instead of incentivizing, hostility, maybe we could. We're not one big happy family, kumbaya. I mean, you have to know what it is, but at the same time, it can be healthy, is all I'm saying. Anyway.